Katrina's Creations Knitting Podcast. Thank you for stopping by, and an early Merry Christmas. Today we're going to get started right away because I've got a lot of things to cover, and so we'll just jump right on into it. The finished object that I showed last week was my Kool-Aid shawl, and at that point I hadn't blocked it. So I have blocked it now. It's stretched out some, but nowhere near the size it's supposed to be. I mean, I'm happy with how it looks, but it was supposed to block out at roughly, I believe it was 68 inches wide, and this is maybe 40, maybe a little bit more, maybe 42. It's just nowhere near as big as it was supposed to be. But it works okay for a neckerchief. It would never work on me for a shawl. Maybe a small person that would maybe work. But anyway, it's going to end up as a kerchief for me. And I already have worn it a couple of times. It is very lightweight, so that's nice. The cowl that I'm wearing today, it's actually doubled, so I guess it would be an infinity scarf. This is done with Blick Fang. It's a German. It's got my hair in it. It is a German yarn. I believe the color, I will probably totally massacre this, but it is called Kleinkunst. So, and I think it's discontinued. But here is the colors in it. It's got reds and green and navy blues and black. Kind of a lot of fire colors. But I thought it looked festive for Christmas. It was interesting to knit, and I did this quite a while ago, but you can see these little like bobbly things on it, these little fuzzy bumps. This is just a yarn over pattern, that's all I did. I didn't really use any pattern, I just knitted in a yarn over like a scarf until I ran out of yarn, and then I connected it. But it makes interesting knitting as far as you have to kind of space your stitches around the bumps. So yeah, it's different, but it was a fast knit, and it's warm and it's soft. It is 99% merino, and it's a 1% polyamide of some sort. I think it was nylon. So that is, like I said, it is a company. It was called Zitron, and Blick Fang actually means eye-catching in German. So other finished objects that I have this week, if you remember the baby blanket that I made for my niece, and how she had said she wanted a hat that would look something different, in pink and white stripes for the baby to have one in the hospital. I finished it. There it is. I'm going to get close so you can see. I don't know if you can see real close or not. It's little teeny mini, little mini cables, and a little pearl button with a little flower. And this does look like it's kind of small, but it's very stretchy, as you can see. And I like the two pointed hats. I just think they're cute. They look like little gnomes. But it's very, very dainty, very delicate. So I think it'll work perfect for a newborn. I did not make my ribbing very tight or very, very long so it could be bent over, because you don't want to leave impressions on the baby's head. That would be a bad thing. So as a result, it's just one, and it's kind of a small little hat, just from the hospital, but I thought it turned out cute. I'm not very good at flowers. That was one of my first attempts, but I think it turned out okay. It's a little pearl button up at the top. The other thing I did was not knitting related that I finished. I had a cutout last week, and that was some new project bags. They will be going in the Etsy shop. And by the way, if any of you checked out the Etsy shop, I don't know if anybody did or not, I told you last week that I would have the new items up and running, and I never got around to getting that done. And then I checked the Etsy shop the other day. I always check to see if there's orders that have come in, but I didn't actually view the shop itself. And when I did, I realized that some of my items had actually expired. So I will hopefully get that up and running today or tomorrow maybe. Anyway, here is the finished. This is a huge bag. I mean, you can put a sweater in this. It is a drawstring. It has just a little silk like grosgrain type of ribbon. It has loops on the inside. Where are they at? They're here. Here it is. There's loops on the inside that you can thread your yarn through, or you can hook something to it, or whatever you want to do with it. There is one problem with this, and I'm not sure how it happened. So this bag will be discounted a little bit. Right here, you can see the seam didn't line up quite right. I matched it, and apparently when I went to sew it, it moved, and I didn't discover that until I was completely finished. So at that point, I couldn't rip it out without ruining a lot of the pattern. So it is what it is, but everything else with it is good. So that should be in the Etsy shop. Again, this one is humongous. It's probably maybe 15 inches across and probably about 10 inches deep. So it's pretty good sized and will hold a lot. Then I made a small one. This is more sock sized. It's not showing up real well in here. Oh, there it is. It's pink and purple. And this is pink with dark pink and white dots on it. The inside, this one has a little bit more substantial drawstrings. There's no loops on the inside or anything. Pattern on the inside, again, is a grayish purple background, and it's not showing up real well in this light at all. You can see it a little bit there. If you notice, I'm filming from a different location today. My husband is upstairs doing some studying, and I was afraid if I'm yakking in the other room, it would disturb him. So I'm actually down in my living room, and the shots you saw in the opening are the black Christmas tree I told you about last week. So yeah, this is going to be in the Etsy shop. And then on to my works in progress. I have a couple of different ones going on. I have my dragon felts, and this is living in, this is a luggage bag. When you get a set of luggage, they always have one of those shaving kits, or I guess they're supposed to be for cosmetics. This one's a little different shaped. It has little zippers on the sides and in the top, but it's perfect size. And this is my dragon felts shawl that I've been working on. Last week I was here. I had just gotten started last week. So that's all the further I was. Right there. This is how far I am this week. And you can see where some of the different colors are coming in right in here where these solid brown rows are. Those are a different stitch right in there. And I'm getting ready to change to do another section of that brown. That's where I'd stopped. So that's where I am with that project. And then, of course, I always have to have 2 items on the needles at all times. I don't know why, but I just do. I have to have one that's an easy project. And then I've got this one, which is anything but an easy project. I just cast this on. This is 100% wool. It's showing up gray, but it's actually like a tan, different shades of tan, and it's kind of a tweed. It's rough, so it's not something I'd want next to my skin. It's going to have to be as a cardigan. And this is all the further I've got. I've got it cast on, and I've just started the first row. And the reason that is this sweater, it is all cables. I'll show you a picture of it in a minute. But it is knit in the round. So I cast on last night 407 stitches. I am knitting this on size 4 needles, and this yarn is about a DK weight to a sport weight. So, yeah, I haven't gotten very far. But it is knit in the round, and the interesting thing with knitting in the round, I have done sweaters that way before. You actually, if you're knitting something flat, you have a right side and a wrong side. So one side has the pattern, the other side, when you knit back, is usually a lot of purls. It's basically the wrong side of the pattern, so it doesn't have the fancier stuff. It's just finishing up the stitches that you did in the front. When you knit in the round, you are constantly on the right side. You never knit the wrong sides. You constantly are knitting in the pattern. And you can do a regular sweater that way, and then you just break when you get to the armholes. When you do this pattern, because it's a cardigan, you have what are called steek stitches, which go down the center, and they are basically like a salvage edge. They are 5 stitches, in this case it's 5 stitches on each side, and you'll knit around and you always do these 5 stitches as knit stitches. And when you finish the cardigan, you take your sewing machine and you sew up the center, and then you split it. Yes, you split it. You cut the sweater apart. The first time I did that with the sweater, I was so afraid that it was going to go, you know, and lose all my stitches. Because the sweater I originally did, even the armholes were done that way. But it doesn't. As long as you have stitched it with tight tension on your sewing machine so that it catches all of the yarn, you're fine. And I never had a problem with any of it coming out. So I've gotten brave now. So this one, I will show you a pattern, what the pattern is going to look like. It is out of a pattern book called Knitting Plus. Sorry, I've got a lot of glare today because my front window, we had snow last night. And apparently some ice too, because our dog went outside and didn't even leave little footprints. She just kind of crunched along on the top. So this is the sweater. This is the back. So you can see all of the cables. It is almost all cable. And I'll show you the front. Here's the front. So if I get this without the glare. There we go. So that center part is going to get cut open. Now they have like little silver frogs for their fasteners. I bought these at Joann's. I'm just going to incorporate buttons. These are like pewter colored. Because originally I thought I was going to do the sweater in gray, and then I ended up with it in a tan, kind of oatmeal type of color instead. So that is the 2 works I have in progress. We will talk about our book. Oh, let me do my acquisitions first. And yes, I did it again. Remember how I talk about, I always tend to buy the same color of yarn. Yep, I did it again. Back to the purple and the turquoise. But this is really pretty. I bought this from the same eBay dealer that I had bought before, but last week. These were in her clearance for $7.50. They are Cascade Yarn Sunseekers. It is, all 3 of them are Sunseeker. It's 237 yards, 100 grams, 47% cotton, 48% acrylic, and 5% metallic yarn. And it is so sparkly. You can't see it so much in here, but it's got little sparkles all over it. You can see some of the little sparkles, but it's really pretty. And then I saw this. All of these were $7.50. There you can really see the sparkles. And this go together really well. They have the same color. But then this solid also happens to go with this one that I got. This is looking more blue, but it's actually turquoise. So this does actually go with this. In the picture, you would never guess that. But the darker colors that are in here are actually the same turquoise. So let's show it to you. This color that I'm holding with my thumb is the same color as this yarn. So I'm actually thinking of possibly putting all 3 of these together. I know these 2 are kind of busy, but I think if I have this in the middle, they've all got similar colors, it just might work. But like I said, again, I seem to be totally drawn to the purples and turquoises. Every time I go to buy something, I tend to gravitate to purple and turquoise. So I guess my wardrobe is going to be mostly purple and turquoise. We still have diversity there. I can wear lots of the same stuff in the same colors and switch it around. Yeah, I don't know. I guess other people I've heard say the same thing in my knitting group. All of them were like, I gravitate towards these colors, and I catch myself always buying the same thing. And I heard a podcaster say that the other day. So I guess it's normal. So as abnormal as I am, I guess in that area, I am normal. So let me tell you about our book for this week. This is the last of the yarn series, Cozy Mysteries, that I read. Once I finish this, I will do a segment on other cozy mysteries that they aren't yarn related, but I still think they're kind of fun, and they're different series that I read. This series is by Maggie Sefton. The first one in the series was called Knit 1, Kill 2. I could not find a copy of it at the library. It's no longer there. The series is just called A Knitting Mystery. This is the second in the series. It's called Needle to Death. And the neat thing with this series is it takes place in a town called Fort Connor, Colorado. It's based on Fort Collins, Colorado. And the funny thing is the yarn shop that's in here is called Lamb Spun. It's based on a real place. If you go online, there is, in Fort Collins, there is a Lamb Spun yarn store. And the description of the yarn store, the way it looks, like kind of like a Mediterranean farmhouse, is identical to how it is in the book. And in fact, if you go to the yarn shop's website, it has this lady's books there, because apparently this is where she goes to get her knitting supplies, maybe, but they all know each other apparently. And so it's just kind of interesting. I like to read series when they actually talk about an area and it's a real place. And maybe this is totally nerdy, but I like going online and kind of Googling those areas and seeing what they really look like for real. I read one murder mystery that took place up in Maine, and they were describing where they were going. I actually went online to MapQuest and was Googling to see what she was seeing as she went along. I know, totally geeky, but it was fun. I like doing that. It's like my own little mystery, trying to track it down. But yeah, these are cute. There is quite a few in this series. The latest one, I think, just came out this past year. So, yeah, I'm not sure offhand how many are in the series, but I know, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is listing 9, and there might be another one beyond that. So there's a lot of books in this series to read. But it's really cute, and like I said, it's based on a real location. So it's interesting. And it's, like I said, if you read it, check out the website for Lamb Spun Yarns, because that way you really kind of get a feel for when she's talking about the yarn shop in the book. You can really picture it in your mind what it looks like. So our last segment is going to be about the giveaway that we started last week. It is running until next Friday, this coming Friday night, which will be the 23rd. I will announce the winner on the 24th, which is 1 week from today. You will win, if you are chosen, a skein of Malabrigo lace weight yarn. It is 470 yards of 100% baby merino wool, 50 grams. It is so soft. The colorway for this is Arco Iris, and it is really pretty. It is a really pretty, again, it's got the purples in it. No turquoise, well, a little bit of turquoise in it. But it has the iris colors, kind of the purpley colors and the green. And it's just really pretty, and it is so soft. It's like brushed cotton, like really comfortable jeans. That's what this reminds me of. It's so soft. And you also will win 2 Progress Keepers. Here's the first one. It is a little skein of yarn with needles, and it has a lobster cloth that is pink. And then this one, which says Knitting Diva, and it has a purple, dark purple bluish color lobster cloth. So those are the prizes. Now, two things I did not mention in the giveaway last week that I should have, and I realized after I did it. If you are under the age of 18, you must have a parent or guardian's permission to enter. And it's one entry per person. So you're welcome to leave as many comments as you like. I love replying to people's comments and seeing what you write. But it is limited to one entry per person, just to keep it fair to everybody. So the only thing you have to do to enter is subscribe to my channel and write a comment in the box. The comments I was doing last week, we were talking about the Kool-Aid dyed shawl that I showed at the beginning of the segment. I have a lot of that yarn left over. And what would you do with that leftover yarn? I'm thinking of applying it together, but I'm not quite sure what I'll do with it after that. So I'm looking for suggestions. So just leave a comment, and next week on Friday night, I will draw the winner and I'll announce it on Saturday. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again next week. Bye-bye.